Hi everyone and welcome. I'm Diane and my passion is painting and creating nature-inspired watercolours in my studio, which are easy for you to do too. I share all my paintings with you on YouTube, and on our website dianeantone.com you can find free downloadable sketches for all the videos to help you make the most of your painting journey. And if you'd like a little bit more, we also have channel memberships with loads of perks for you to enjoy. So welcome on board. Click subscribe and turn on notifications, and let's learn to paint watercolour. So today I'm going to paint a Halloween themed little painting in my VIVIVA sketchbook here, which is size A5, which is half of A4, which is about 5 by 8 inches. And I like this sketchbook, not because I'm a fan of sketchbooks, because I'm not really, but I really quite like the paper which is in it. And so I did a trial sketch earlier this morning and it turned out okay, so I'm going to do it again. I'm going to record myself actually doing it on the camera. And what I'm going to use to paint it is my VIVIVA colour sheets, which we just got from VIVIVA all the way from India. And we are actually able to sell these from our website. So if you're interested in giving these a try, pop on over there to dianeantone.com and you can order a set of those, even if you're in America or no matter where you are. We're in France, but we can send them to you for a reasonable price. I'm using these because I particularly like one of the colours, which is vermilion, which here, it doesn't look like anything, it looks as if it's red, but it isn't. It's a brilliant orange, which is absolutely perfect for painting pumpkins and things like that, and autumn leaves and so on and so forth. And it doesn't dye back when it dries, which is one of the problems with watercolours normally, even though they might look bright. When you put them on the paper, by the time they've dried, they come much lighter, which is a shame. Anyway, so this particular type of paint doesn't do that. It dries pretty much the same as you put it on. And when you try that, you'll realise just how much you've been suffering. I've been suffering for 60 years, painting in watercolours which have unreliably but inevitably faded as they dried. And I think, personally, it's about time that the manufacturers of watercolour paints got their act together and stopped that happening, because it's not fair. It's another thing that's not fair. Anyway, so that's my moan for the day. I have a photocopy of the painting there, which I'm going to copy onto here using a watercolour pencil. I'm going to use a watercolour pencil for this. I'm just going to sharpen that a little bit before I start with my pencil plane. And I'm going to do that because, and I'm going to do it with the pencil plane because I like the pencil plane. I'm on a mission to turn the clock back to the days before we had automatic pencil sharpeners, or even the little things that you stick the pencil in, because a lot of my watercolour pencils are too big to go in the hole. So that's no use, but this is perfect, and it's very economical, doesn't waste any pencil or anything. This is Koh-i-Noor Gioconda Aquarelle. It's a 4B and it's black. So let's get started. I'm going to sketch this. Yes, I'm going to sketch this. So when I did it last time, it was completely different when I began. I had a mug of hot chocolate here and a flower, and then I just totally changed my mind about all of that. So we'll start again with a pumpkin. And this pumpkin here is going to be on the mauve end of the spectrum. I'm going to paint this with a mauvish tinge, so that the eyes, which are obviously cut eyes, nose and mouth, which we are going to put nice and bright, so that they will show up as contrast. And then I'm going to put a nice witch's hat on the pumpkin, because why not? And that'll be a nice, sharp, pointed hat, like that. It's quite fun to paint something like this. You have to excuse the noise in the background. It's absolutely tipping it down with rain, blowing a gale. I'm not sure what's going on out there. But I think I heard somewhere that there's a not typhoon, we don't have typhoons. What do you call them? Tempest, hurricane, tornado, gale, at least a gale. Okay, so next to the witch's hat, I'm going to put a nice big black candle. With a nice yellow flame. The good thing about doing your sketch in watercolour pencil is that when you come in with the paint, the watercolour, the pencil will more or less disappear. These are meant to be ivy leaves, so I'm doing some very small berries there. And then in the background here, I'm going to put a bat, I hope. I'm going to just have to look up a bat. This is the wonderful thing about the internet, isn't it? If you need a profile, see, that's wrong right there. If you need a profile, too much Law and Order, too many criminal minds, honestly. If you need to do the profile, profile of a bat, so you can find whatever you need on Pinterest or whatever, except you just don't want to completely copy somebody else's work, but there's no harm in going to have a look at, what do you call it, clip art, that's it, clip art. Okay, so there we are, that's one of the ugliest little animals ever to walk planet Earth. We found, did I tell everybody this the other day? We found a bat in our dining room. I don't know how that got in there. Anyway, it did. Okay, so there's a bat. And then, so we've got the one pumpkin, and then I'm going to put another one here. And upon this pumpkin is going to be perching a raven. So we put his feet in first, I think. Yeah, he needs his leg like that. And do you know, I find the wind very, very, very disturbing. I expect you're the same. I'm always worried by the wind in a way that, I don't know, scary, very scary. The sketch for this, I will trace it and you'll be able to, oh, it's easing off, that's good. You'll be able to download it from DianeAntone.com, the website, free of charge. Just pop on over there and you can make yourself an account, but you don't have to give any payment details or anything. But our blog is there as well, and you can read about more information about the paintings that I do, and and where to get the various products that we use. Okay, so this is you could call it a fairly scruffy looking raven. Yeah, but he's going to be black anyway, so that's fine. And then what next? We're going to have a tree coming up behind him here. I'll just put that in, and the roots will be going along the front here. And we'll have a kind of leafy sort of leaf mould kind of, you know, sort of thingy. What's it going on there? And the tree branch, tree roots like that. And then we'll have a few more branches, twiggy branches over there. Just make this hat a little bit like that. Strengthen up the eyes and the nose. Okay, I think that will do. And I'm going to use my water brush. Let me see if it needs filling up. And the reason I use this is because it's quicker. Somebody did ask me why I have been using the water brush such a lot, and it's because when I'm demonstrating, I do like to save as much time as I can. I don't want to keep on having to, you know, waste time with the regular brushes. It's just a little bit quicker. So I'll take this out of the way so I can see it. Now, first time I did this, I went to the raven first, so we'll do that. I'm going to do it the same as I did before. So we'll go to the last sheet in the colour sheets booklet is black and magenta. So we'll just pick up some black. And I need a little mixing palette just to... So basically just painting in the black for the raven. And then for the hat, which is the other very dark thing, I tend to like to start with the dark things first. I think it's a good idea to start with a little bit of brown, first of all. And then come in with the black so that we get a bit of life in the colour, because you don't want it to be completely black. And when I do the second layer of the raven, I'll probably put some green or purple in there, depending on how it turns out. Okay, so then for the pumpkin, I'm going to start off with chrome yellow underneath, and this one. And then I will come in, I'm going to make this one a nice bright orangey colour, so then we want our vermilion. can just mix that in loosely and let it run a little bit. Got a hair there. Meanwhile, this one over here, I'm going to make that a kind of mauvey brown. So we'll go for this pinky shade. And I'm going to mix into it a little bit of not burnt sienna. I want a bluish, because I want to make this one somewhat subdued so that the lights behind the eyes and the nose and the mouth show up. I'll just let that dry before we put the yellow in there. But we'll come back now to the first one with some burnt umber, which is a darker brown, and we'll just drop in a little bit of shadow for the shape. And I think I'll probably make that brown. You could add a bit of green to that if you want. And just smoosh that around a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to put in the bat. Batty bat. And we probably want to just use a pencil to sharpen up the points of his feet. Okay, that'll do for him. And then I thought that we would have a dark brown black candle here. Make that black. He's spooky. And then a nice bright yellow candle flame. I think we can come into the eyes now, here with the vermilion. I'm using that bright vermilion colour to give a glow. A bit of orange. And then let us find some sap green. This is supposed to be, whoops, this is supposed to be ivy leaves, but I'm going to make them sort of dark green. And then some berries, but ivy berries are sort of green anyway, so. Now we want brown for the tree, which I'm looking for here. So the only downside of these is that you do have to search a little bit for what you're looking for, but so anyway, so this is a wonderful brown, isn't it? That's burnt umber, and then we have burnt sienna. And then we're just kind of indicating the, what would you call it, the leaf mould. So just some sort of random colours, nice rusty shades there. I think I'll put a little bit of burnt sienna in there. Lighten that up a little bit. And then, okay, so we said we would come back to the raven, and I've mixed magenta with black just to give a more interesting black. Give some nice texture to the tree. And then I think what we really want is a sort of blackish brown for these branches here. And then I'm going to take some mauve and I'm just going to smoosh that in because I want to give the impression of wintry foliage on these branches here. And wintry sky. So that was magenta with a bit of what was that bit? Magenta with a bit of blue, I think. So we call that the sky, the night sky. And pop that down here too, behind the raven. what you want to do is you want to achieve a nice, rich what's the word? Seasonal. Pop in a bit of green, because there's always a bit of green, isn't there? Okay, so there we are. We'll let that dry and come back and see whether it needs any tidying up. Okay, so that's dry now, and I just thought it would be quite nice to put a little bit of a silver band around the hat of the witch's hat here. So I've got my Kuretake silver starry colours, and I've just mixed up some of the silver there, the white gold they call it. So I'll just drop some of that in there. And then the other thing that I think we need to do is to put a darker centre in the flame. So we'll just put get some there we are, and maybe I'll just put a couple of light dabs there. I think the bird is okay. His eye's got its dark light centre there, and yeah, so there we are. That's a bit of fun, a bit of Halloween fun, something that you might like to do with the kids, or just as a relaxation. Great fun to do something like that once in a while. You could go into a lot more detail, you could do it a lot more carefully, you could make something of it. But anyway, that's just an idea for you. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much for being here. And don't forget to go to the website. Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe, and pick up your free sketches and everything else that I've said 1,000 times before. So I'll let you go now. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and see if there's any witches in the back of the studio. So bye for now, everybody. Bye bye.